But for Pittsburgh, and I cannot give Mike Tomlin enough credit for the evolution as a coach that he went through in the last 10 months, 12 months. The Steelers over the last 5, 6, 7 years, hitch in the mouth, defense, we're going to run the football effectively, and we're going to just kind of get the most out of whatever quarterback we have. We'll see what it has. It could be an old Big Ben. It could be Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Rudolph, Lainey Wilson's boyfriend, Duck Hodges. Didn't know they were together until last week. Shout out to those two. And just kind of go from there. And Mike Tomlin said, you know what? I haven't won a playoff game since the Obama administration. Maybe need to tweak some things a little bit. Maintain our identity as a football team and as a culture. Pittsburgh, tough, hitch in the mouth, defense, run the football. But we need a difference maker at quarterback. And for the record, didn't think Russell Wilson was going to be that guy. Listen, when I said over and over, when he signed in Pittsburgh, I'm like, well, it's better than what we had, so I'm cool with that, and he's cheap. 1 year, cheap, better than what we have. It's not a bad signing. You trade for Justin Fields, well, he has upside. Haven't loved him the last few years, but there's upside there, maybe. But the key move, you replace the worst offensive coordinator in professional football, and maybe even college football, Matt Canada. Get him the heck out of here. Get one of the smartest OCs, called it from the jump, Arthur Smith. Pair him with the Russell Wilson, who was fixed by Sean Payton at the end in Denver that last year. Didn't get along, but Russell Wilson was certainly better in year 2 in Denver than he was when he was horrible in year 1. And Mike Tomlin said, I'm going to maintain the culture, the identity, everything that makes the Steelers a historically great franchise. But we got to adapt to the modern NFL. And he was late to the party. But boy, once he's arrived, my goodness, since Russell was, first of all, let's look at what Russell's done individually since Tomlin inserted in the lineup with heavy scrutiny, by the way. People didn't, including myself, didn't think Russell should have started after Fields started 4-2. Here's Russell Wilson. He's been excellent. 3rd in pass yards per game, 9th in touchdowns, 6th in interceptions, which is a good thing, 8th in passer rating. And by the way, how about this? A 97.7 passer rating does Russell Wilson have on throws of 15 or more yards down the field, according to Pro Football Focus. That is numero uno, number 1 in the National Football League. But as an offense, since Russell Wilson is inserted, bam, the Steelers are an elite offensive team. 2nd in total yards per game, 4th in pass yards per game, 8th in rush yards per game, 5th in points per game, 5th in points per game, and number 1 in the NFL in time of possession. Like that. That's the Steelers' way, like the time of possession. Hold on to the ball, rely on your defense, run the ball. Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, Cordell Patterson. But we need to have the over-the-top for the defense to respect us, which will open it up for the run game. Basic game plan in the NFL. And so when you watch the Steelers team, I'm sorry. Listen, the Steelers defense hasn't looked great now. TJ Watt was awesome yesterday. He had 2 sacks. He had multiple tackles for loss, forced fumble. TJ Watt was outstanding. He's the best defensive player in football. Of course he was. But what makes the Steelers team, to me, the scariest team in the AFC, not the best. I think Buffalo, well, not to spoil Bryce's best 10 on Wednesday, I still think Buffalo and Kansas City are better than Pittsburgh. Buffalo is playing the best of anybody in the AFC. Kansas City, I don't know, they've lost 1 game, and they have the best quarterback in the world who just won the last 2 Super Bowls. Call me crazy. Gonna say they're still pretty good. Getting to the Chiefs later. Pittsburgh could beat you multiple different ways now. See, they were always scaring the playoffs in the sense that, well, TJ Watt has a game-wrecking game, and Tomlin comes that game plan, and maybe they get a couple turnovers. All of a sudden, you're like in a 13-13 game with 5 minutes to go. That the Steelers are the last team you want to face in that situation. But if you're facing an elite quarterback like Joe Burrow, because you're going to in the playoffs, you're going to face Mahomes, you're going to face Allen, you're going to face, well, Lamar's elite, just not in the playoffs, but Lamar's an elite player. When you face Justin Herbert, when you face these great quarterbacks, and the defense maybe doesn't have the best day at the office, or it's just great offense beats great defense any day of the week, as my man Mark Jackson would say, different sport basketball, but the point remains, defense is a bad day at the office. That's okay. That's okay. Russell Wilson is steady. He's calm. He's not going to try. He had the interception on the first series of the game. It should not have counted. It was a pick 6. Shouldn't have counted. George Pickens got yanked down by his helmet. Whatever. Russell doesn't turn the ball over. Pickens, when he's not acting like a child, is an amazing talent with the ball, football in his hands. Calvin Austin can beat you over the top. Mike Williams, thank you, New York Jets. Okay, Freiermuth, third down, red zone. You got a trio of running backs that are effective. Najee, Jalen Warren, and Cordell Patterson is, and by the way, the Steelers' offensive line looked better in the last couple of weeks. Still not great, but has looked better. You run into the Steelers team, especially if you go to Pittsburgh, if they're a 2 or 3 seed, my Lord, that is not an enviable position. If the offense is down, defense picks them up. If the defense is down, offense picks them up. And by the way, special teams, you might have the best kicker in football, Chris Boswell, who just doesn't miss. He had a kick blocked yesterday, but Bos doesn't miss much. He just doesn't do that. And so I cannot, in a year where Mike Tomlin extends his streak, no losing seasons, which has never been done by any coach in their career, to go as long as Tomlin's had without having a losing season once, I give him major kudos. He was late to the party, and I criticized him extensively last year on the show. But he evolved. Mike Tomlin's a smart guy. He saw the Steelers team as like, this is going to be our cap. 7 seed and first round exit is our cap until we adjust. So I'm going to get a creative offensive coordinator. I'm going to get Russell Wilson, good veteran, right? Deep ball works. And Russell, by the way, Russell Wilson, major props to him as well, because we talk about Tomlin adjusting. So did Russell. Like, as much as Tomlin might have needed Russell Wilson and the upgrade that he presented over the other quarterbacks, Russell Wilson needed Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith badly. Russell Wilson, I talked about on my show at the end of last year when the Broncos let him go and benched him in the whole situation. I was like, what is his market? Like, he's productive. Somebody will sign him. But celebrity backup, dating a very famous woman, Sierra, like, is this going to be a problem? Russell Wilson, with all the situations in Denver, with the poor leadership at the end in Seattle, again, Russell, smart guy, saw what didn't work and was like, okay, I don't have much longer left, and I want to win Super Bowls. I've held that Lombardi trophy 10 years ago. I know how it feels to come up short in the single most heartbreaking way possible. I want to get back to that stage. And so I got to adjust. I got to adjust not only to the Steelers culture, I've got to adjust myself as a leader. Because that huddle's going to be looking at me and saying, Russell, what are we going to get out of you? Not just throwing the football, not just with his mobility, escapability. What are you going to give us in terms of an intangible perspective? What are you going to give us? And Russell's been steady. Russell's been a great teammate. The guys love him. And so that was the thing I was most skeptical about, by the way. What's Russell going to be in the locker room? He's been excellent. Najee Harris posted the video yesterday. He was going to Russell's locker, and he was doing what we did to open the show today, the Mr. Unlimited. The locker room loves him. Russell's adjusted. Mike Tomlin's adjusted. 2 smart guys, 2 future Hall of Famers. In the case of Tomlin, an all-time legend. They adjusted, and now they're the scariest team in the AFC. A game and a half up on Baltimore. Take care of business against Cleveland next week with Baltimore to bye. You could be up 2 games on the Baltimore Ravens with 4 games to go. Now, you play them again, not say the division's a wrap, but you're in the catbird seat. You're in good shape. So I thought what Pittsburgh did yesterday was, it's the most yards they had since 2018, the most points they've had since 2018. It's like if you transpose the Big Ben, Antonio Brown, Le'Veon Bell offense with this defense, oh my God, they win a Super Bowl. Like, it'd be scary. I'm not going to say it's that good. George Pickens isn't quite Antonio Brown. Certainly hope it doesn't turn an AB off the field. Russell Wilson isn't quite what Ben Roethlisberger was in his prime. Again, Ben's a first ballot Hall of Famer, 2-time champion. And Najee Harris, Najee Harris, Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon was putting up historic numbers, but Najee's more reliable physically. You don't want to face the Pittsburgh Steelers in the playoffs. Matter of fact, I'd say you should be pretty darn terrified to face them. Best defensive player on the planet on one side. An offense that is top. I never thought I'd say those words under the current situation the Steelers are in at the quarterback position. Never did, especially if you told me last year, hey, Bryson, next year, the Steelers are going to get Russell Wilson, and they're going to be one of the 5 best offenses in football by the numbers. I'd be like, huh? Well, yeah, maybe in like 2014 they would have been, but oh no, 2024, baby. Steelers are back. Steelers are continue to hold to their identity with the modern NFL. A little Nick Saban-ish at Alabama. Nick Saban didn't go away from the things that made him great at Alabama. Toughness, physicality, coach kids hard. But he said, it's a quarterback's league now, quarterback college football. I'm going to go get Jalen Hurts and Tua, and kind of what Mike Tomlin's done. And I give him major kudos for doing that. And it's why he's proven himself to be still, not that it ever changed, but just revalidates one of the 3 or 4 best coaches in the National Football League without question. Thanks so much for watching the show on YouTube, and be sure to go click that big red subscribe button and check out the other clips and full shows from Carving It Up Live, as well as our other incredible content creators here on the Grid Network.